Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast where we... Did I start early?
Go ahead.
Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 171. 170. 170.
One.
This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either. I was just so shocked you started right away, so I was really confused.
Oh.
This is a tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Do you want me to do it like how Andy Frisella says?
Nope.
There's two different types of episodes. We do talk episodes and tutor episodes.
Love it.
There you go.
Thanks.
That's what I'm here for.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm the hype man. I don't really do all the talking.
All right. What do we got today?
Talking about different kind of lifting exercises.
Yep.
And what they're good for and not good for, kind of, right?
Sure.
Shaun's done a lot of different types of working out. Let's just start with that.
Okay.
You started with powerlifting?
Mm-hmm.
Did you start running before powerlifting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So running, powerlifting, and then you did weightlifting,
Mm-hmm.
and then back to powerlifting,
Mm-hmm.
and now you just kind of maintain.
Mm-hmm.
You also do jujitsu, so there's that.
Yeah, that's fucking very newbie, very beginner.
Yep.
Very, very beginner.
One thing I can for sure say is something that works for us may not work for you. So it's definitely something we always be careful there. Oh, you can always hear when those clang together on the mics. It's something we always discuss is your body is an experiment, kind of. Obviously, don't take it to the extremes without knowing the consequences. But we experiment all the time with different types of workouts, any kind of different exercises. Shaun found that jiu-jitsu is a good cardio for him, and strength training, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of fell in love with that, and he really enjoys it, so obviously he's going to keep doing it. But yeah, you definitely... That's a huge part about finding your exercises. Do what makes you happy. I mean, lifting in the gym didn't make me happy for the whole first year, but I didn't know what else I wanted to do. So once I just kept doing it, then it made me feel really good. And now I hate when I don't get to go to the gym. So it may take time to find your niche of what kind of workout you like, but there are lots of different options. Powerlifting. And just because you do these types of workouts doesn't mean you can't cross over to other ones. Doesn't mean you have to compete in those. But each one kind of, I think, focuses on different things.
Mm-hmm.
So powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, bodybuilding. CrossFit kind of combines a lot of things, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's an exercise, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any kind of sport. So, like jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot. A
Yeah,
lot of...
any athletics.
Yeah.
Any athletic sport.
A lot of sports, it's really good to do any kind of weight training because you can strengthen those muscles that you need for those.
Right.
All Olympic athletes do weight training along with their event that they do.
Right.
But yeah, we thought this was an interesting topic because we saw a video this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What did the video say, Shaun?
Well, it just said that, CrossFit isn't a type of workout. It's an exercise. Or it's like a sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not... You don't do CrossFit to, build strength. And what that means is, doing a WOD, a workout of the day, you're not really going to be building much strength in that. You're just doing these awkward movements like a power clean or a snatch that you've never really done before. You're trying to do it with weight. You're throwing your body mechanics off. And then you're not going to do it again for another week.
Or 6 weeks.
Or 6 weeks. Yeah, it's you're not doing much things to build muscle. You're just doing an exercise. You're doing a workout of the day. And so there's a big difference. So like that in training and like lifting weights. And what it kind of equates to is like CrossFit should be looked at like a sport's looked at, like football, or soccer, or like anything.
Right, you do weight training to improve that sport.
Right. Yep. And so this weekend we were watching Donnie Schenkel snatch with Matt and Caitlin, because Sam was going through my YouTube and was like, "Why in the world is this on here?"
It was on his music playlist.
It's on my music playlist. But then I was just talking to Matt. Matt was wondering about like if that exercise makes you, like, what the point of that exercise is. And I'm like, oh, it's for art. Because the snatch, you're not building muscle snatching. You build the muscle in the gym, squatting, doing rows, doing deadlifts, doing overhead squats, doing push presses. You build your muscle doing all those exercises day after day after day after day for years. And then the art is the snatch. And that's where, like, you practice over and over the technique. And as you get more fluid with the technique, you're able to add more weight and add more weight. But one thing I realized one thing I knew when I was doing it in both the clean and jerk and the snatch was I could only lift so much in those movements dependent on how much I could row, deadlift, and back squat or front squat. I noticed when I took my front squatting a lot more serious, my clean and jerk would go up. And it's not that it necessarily went up a lot in weight, but maybe it went up like 10 kilos or like 20 pounds. But I was able to hit it a lot more frequent.
Oh,
you know? And that was the same thing with like my behind the head push press. If that went up, my snatch would like maybe just become a little more consistent. My overhead squat was up. It's just those things that, like, there's the foundation and the building, the strength building, and then there's the sport. And that's like powerlifting too. Like, powerlifting, you have your 3 movements, but it's not just all about the squat, the bench, the deadlift. If you watch most of the guys in the sport that have longevity, now I will say guys in the sport that go really far, like really fast, just hit those 3 movements a shit ton. And they do really well, and then they're usually out of the sport or injured within like 5 years.
Right.
But the guys that have been in the sport for like 15 plus years talk about how those movements are only for the movement. They're for the sport. They're not for the strength portion. They back off and do different variations, do bodybuilding style training, do like different weight training stuff to build up that base and build up the strength. And then the bench, the squat, the deadlift, those are all just the techniques they practice to get better at it.
I mean, one of the greatest powerlifting training the blocks we did, the whole first half of it, we didn't do any of the 3 movements.
Right.
And then at the end of that first block, then we did a 1 rep max or a 3 rep max.
I don't remember.
It was one of the 2. But my numbers like improved significantly because I was training a lot of the supporting muscles instead, which when you're just training the 3 movements, you don't hit those as well.
Right.
I also noticed the other day, I haven't done push-ups in like a month or so, but I've been doing a lot more like rows in my workouts. Dude, my push-ups have improved significantly.
Mm-hmm.
I used to only be able to do 5 before I went to my knees. And the other day I did 10. Well, I did 3 sets of 10, and I didn't have to go to my knees for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like dumbfounded. I was like, when did this happen?
Right.
But it's because I've been doing a lot more of the supporting workouts.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something I realized when I was weightlifting is like, and a big reason I went back to powerlifting was a lot of my like a lot of my supporting stuff was dwindling because I didn't have enough time to like train the movements and get full like workouts in. And so I wasn't having enough time to build up all the supporting muscles and everything. I could have found more time. I could have like went in before work or school or whatever, but I didn't feel like training that much. But yeah, I wasn't having enough time to like do the technique work and continue with like my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I like switched back to powerlifting was is easier for me to get what I need to get done and do a lot more of the supporting lifts and didn't have to do as much of the technique stuff.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of CrossFitters, I mean, you look at them, they're very muscular.
Just jacked, yeah.
Right. But I mean, they take it seriously. I'm sure they're probably in the gym for like 3 hours.
Yeah, CrossFit like is so.
Because wouldn't you then do like the workout of the day, but also like do other trainings to make sure you're hitting all muscles?
Real professional people that are doing CrossFit. So like there's the CrossFit people at the normal gyms, and that's just a community. That's just people to get together and hang out and do some shit, and that's cool, whatever. But like real CrossFitters, they train for like 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe more a day.
Yeah.
And they're doing the workouts of the days. They're doing cardio stuff. They're doing a bunch of lifting. A lot of good CrossFitters come with a weightlifting background.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because if you come with a weightlifting background, you already know how to do all those movements. Since you already know how to do those movements, you clearly have the foundation and structure built, so you already have the strength. And so now everything is like cardio and technique. You're just building on that sport, so they already had that foundation built. Mm-hmm. And consequently, a lot of good weightlifters used to be gymnasts because gymnasts really know how to work with their body.
Yeah.
And so now you're just working around a bar, and then you're like you have that foundation built for like body control and shit, and then you're able to go from there.
Yeah, learning snatch and clean and jerk are like the 2 hardest things ever, besides trying to learn a manual car, in my opinion. But I know the basics of the movements, but I don't do much weight because it'd be so easy to injure myself. So easy. And usually we just do it like on a random Saturday when no one else is in the gym and we just want to have fun. But those movements are just so hard on the body. Yeah. So hard.
Oh. Well, if you don't do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're not like bashing CrossFit, but it's definitely more of a sport than a workout.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? Like I think a lot of people doing things like that, it's just an exercise. It's a sport. It's like going and playing tennis. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going, but with I think like a lot higher risk of injury. Mm-hmm. Because some of those movements are pretty intense. Mm-hmm. But so that's some of the basics of like, I guess, working out, and the thoughts behind it is it all starts with like building a foundation, and building the foundation is like key in anything, right? Mm-hmm. Business, lifting, whatever, friendships, relationships. Yep. Everything is like building a foundation and work like fucking Nick's gym.
I know.
The foundation.
Were you not realizing that the entire time you kept saying the foundation?
Hey man, good fucking name. Mm-hmm. What a good name.
I think I wrote a blog on this like 2 years ago too.
Damn. So anyways, the foundation, Nick Hoswander's gym, go train there. You need to like you should focus on, and this is why like powerlifting and Craig helped me so much, was because I built a foundation around strength and like getting to know my body. So then when I like moved into other workouts, I was like comfortable with like how I moved, like my movement patterns, shit like that. And I was able to, that's why I'm able to like catch on to things that deal with my body faster. So like, had I not spent like the last 10 years, well, it's like 13 years now. If I had not spent the last 13 years lifting weights and like knowing movements and like how like shit feels this way, that way, whatever, I would not have been able to, you know, pick up snowboarding as fast as I did, pick up like jujitsu as fast as I did. Things like I wouldn't be able to pick up those athletic things if I hadn't, because I'm not athletic at all. Like my athletic abilities are low. I'm very awful at sports.
Oh, yeah.
But just through like building through many years of lifting and understanding my body and how shit makes me feel and what can target what, has helped me significantly in being able to catch on to things like weightlifting, snowboarding, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's like been my issue is I'm naturally athletic when it comes to anything with a ball. So like tennis, softball were my two main ones. But I'm pretty naturally athletic at anything else, like sport-wise. So regular lifting hasn't been terrible for me. But getting into like the snatch and clean and jerk, that's just really weird for me. I've never had to focus so much on like little things, like little tweaks. Kind of in tennis, but not a whole lot. So like lifting was a whole new game for me. And powerlifting is probably one of the easier things to learn, I would say. Actually, probably bodybuilding movements, because those are mainly machines.
Machines and dumbbells.
Yeah. But it's been really nice having Shaun like with me, because he's always been such like a form person. You have to have good form. And if I wouldn't have had good form all this time, I would have gotten injured. So that's like a good thing about starting with weights instead of CrossFit is you can focus on your form and you can build those supporting muscles. So if you want to go into CrossFit, you already have a good foundation for it and you're less likely to get injured.
Right.
And plus, like, I wouldn't just go into a CrossFit class because unless if there's like the right coaches. Because there was the MMA gym that you went to, and they didn't do well with separating beginners with advanced. So then it was easy for beginners to get injured because there was no one there to, like, help them or watch them or be like, oh, just so you know, like, these are things to keep in mind. Right. And I'm sure with some CrossFit classes, too, like, they're just like, okay, this is what you got to do, but they're probably also working out or...
Oh, I've seen that so many times. You'll have a beginner come into a CrossFit gym, and I'll be hitting my workouts, and then I see like brand new people I've never seen before come in to work out, and they're not like a fit guy or a fit chick. It's like a 50-year-old mom who hasn't worked out in 30 years, and she's got a snatch. And I'm just sitting here like, fuck, dude, we could be doing anything but this. Like, let's just have her do some air. Like, let's just have her do air squats.
Right, just to get any muscles.
Right, we'll just like get some movement going. And she snatched on her first day, and I'm like, dude, talk about just a way to. It just doesn't seem smart. I'm like, just building a foundation. It doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah. Brooke did tell me when she did those CrossFit classes, they wouldn't even let her use an actual bar.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
No, and I'm sure like just like doing jiu-jitsu, just like other sports, right? Like if you're a beginner at the right places, they're going to have beginner classes for it. And or like put you with someone new and like walk you guys through what's going on, or put you with someone really advanced who will show you what's going on,
Yeah.
which is actually even better.
Yeah.
Because when you get put with someone advanced, they can be like, yeah, so this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm. The only issue is, once again, you may only do that movement once every 6 weeks. So especially with snatch and clean and jerk, you're not going to get good at that movement if you only do it once every 6 weeks.
Right. Well, and that's something that like people talk to me about so much is like snatch and clean and jerk was one of them. Like, how long does it take to get good, or like when will I start like feeling good with the movements? It's like, well, for I would say like 6 months, I would say for the first month, 5 days a week for the first month, for about an hour and a half, I worked with just the bar. Snatch, clean, and jerk for an hour and a half. And then, I'd hit my other stuff in between, but I would be hitting sets. So I'd be hitting, a couple hundred reps a day, 5 days a week for a month with like the bar. Then I moved up to, I still did warm up with the bar every day, but then you would add a little weight, up to maybe 95 pounds, do that for another month. And then, you slowly work your way up. So about 6 months into weightlifting, I'm doing like 135. I don't think I was doing 135 on snatch, but I was doing it I think I was doing like power snatch, right? Mm-hmm. But at that point, I mean, what have I hit? A few thousand reps?
Yeah.
More than a few thousand, probably 5,000 plus reps on each movement by the time I was doing that. And then by the time I was doing 2.5 years in, you keep that same shit up. For 2.5 years in, I've done tens of thousands of reps before you're like good and fluid at it. And now like it's riding a bike. I pick it up and it's the first movement. It's just like boom, it's there. But you think about guys who've been doing that shit for 10 years and the hundreds of thousands of reps they've done.
Oh yeah.
And then you put that into powerlifting too, bodybuilding, right? All that shit. Like all those reps add up. Muscle memory, muscle growth, all that shit, being fluid and whatnot. And so it's such a slow progression. And that's like going into jiu-jitsu. I know when I talked to Mitch, I was like, hey, Mitch, if we do this for 5 years, we're going to be pretty confident in what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's not like, hey, if we do this for a year, I'm like, nah, dude, like I think if I do this for 5 years, I'm gonna see pretty good results after 5 years.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna know what I'm doing. Because I know like 2.5 years in weightlifting, that wasn't enough. I knew like I needed to do a significant amount more to progress in that field. And I didn't want to put that kind of time into that. So yeah, it's just the time aspect that people don't chew off.
When that's what, like, I'm finally, I think it was like last year, maybe a year and a half ago now. So at that point, I would have been 4 years into lifting. I was finally getting happy with how my arms were looking. And it's not like they were flabby or anything before. It was just I finally could see like my biceps were growing and my triceps were growing. I mean, it took 4 years. It was very lazy 4 years. So I'm sure if I actually dedicated myself, it would have only taken like a year and a half, 2 years.
2 years probably.
Yeah. But it is a very slow progression, which is, I mean, it's good. It teaches you patience. I figured we should maybe do like a quick overview of like what each type of workout or training like does for you.
Okay.
So like powerlifting, the focus is squat, bench, deadlift, and you basically want to just pull the highest amount.
Lift as much as you can.
Lift as much as you can.
That's a goal in that and weightlifting.
Yep. So yeah, Olympic weightlifting, snatch and clean and jerk. Obviously, you want to do the most amount of weight. And then there's bodybuilding.
Yep.
Bodybuilding, Shaun and I like to focus on because it defines the muscles more.
I train. Yeah. Bodybuilding's like a really good way to train and build muscle. Like probably the best way. With the lowest amount of impact on your joints and your.
Yes.
Like your body. But yeah, I don't do the posing. I've never competed in bodybuilding. That's one sport that I really don't ever plan to compete in.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I said earlier. Just because you do these type of workouts doesn't mean you have to actually compete in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bodybuilding is one of our favorite ones. I think that we do.
Mm-hmm. It's nice looking good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice having a six pack. Nice having big arms, big legs. It's cool.
Yep. And then there is. Why am I drawing a blank now? Well, there's like other like just movement exercises. So like yoga,
Pilates.
Pilates, yeah. Pilates is really good for like stretching joints and.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know fucking anything about those things.
That is what. Why can't I think of her name? She took our engagement photos. Abby does.
Yeah, Pilates. Yeah.
Yep. It's really good for body movements. So a lot of like at least from what I've seen from her, it's really good for people who are like especially doing CrossFit to do Pilates because it's a really good way to stretch your muscles and make sure your joints aren't hurting and taking care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then CrossFit's just kind of a it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't say that word.
Conglomerate.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think CrossFit is like one of the best things to do once you have a base, like as you're building, because like you can make your own WODs and do like full body workouts, and once you're comfortable with it, because I've moved pretty much to full body workouts now, and if I had the space, I would do a CrossFit style full body workout every day, but I don't have the space. I'm at a commercial gym, so I don't do more than 2 to 3 exercises at a time because I don't want to eat up equipment and space. But if I had my own gym, I would. But what's good is like you build, you do these exercises, you build these things for years, and then like I think the concept behind CrossFit, you set up fucking 6 stations, and I don't know if you can, like, you could do some for time, for fun. Like, I mean, you could definitely do, like, rope climb, fucking burpees, loop around the gym, and crank those suckers out for time because that's going to be a crazy killer cardio workout, right? The things I'm not a huge fan on for time is, like, they do, like, 1 rep maxes for time. I don't know about all that shit. I mean,
that just encourages you to injure yourself by
in
not
like,
warming up enough.
Yeah, in training, I mean, unless you're doing it competitive, and unless you're doing that stuff competitive in training, I just wouldn't be doing that. Plus, it doesn't like help with building muscle, because you like building muscle and building strength, you need rest time. So if I was to do this, anyways, like I would do CrossFit style. I should just say I would do circuit training.
There you go.
I'd do circuit training. And I would be taking my rests I need to take for the muscle building. And on the stuff that I don't need to, I'd, speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe do 2 circuits, one for like more cardio, body weight stuff, and one for like strength building. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the thought behind it for me is like circuit training's phenomenal. I love circuit training.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite.
But and I think it's good for like longevity and in like all around like body health. Yeah, that's what I got for that.
Me too. But yeah, experiment with it. See what kind of things you like, what you don't like. Whatever you decide to do, just make sure you have a good base, a good foundation for it, good coaches. Because it's very easy to injure your body when you're not doing things correctly.
Yeah. Yep. And I guess the last part with it is like, how many years have you been watching Netflix or TV for an hour a day? And you could have lifted or like built a foundation. So don't be afraid in the next 5 years of your life to start building that foundation now. Yeah.
And you can do it from your home.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Push-ups, sit-ups, air squats, lunges. So much stuff you can just do at your house.
I know, like Dana Lynn Bailey, her app DLB Daily, $7 a month, and she does like multiple different like workout styles, but you don't even have to worry about your shit. You just follow her thing and you just train whatever she's training every day.
Yeah.
And
I think I have one free one from her. I think it's a leg day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if you're not comfortable with it and you need to see videos, you need to see exercises, shit like that, you know, and you don't want to pay for a trainer, start there. See where that gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. That's what I got for exercises and training, guys.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.